Welcome to the teacher edition to the Digital Citizenship Survivor Kit for grades 6 through 12. We all know that when you use props to teach a concept students are learning, they retain the lesson better. Use this lesson about the Digital Citizenship Survivor Kit to teach students how they can reflect on their online behaviors and become an active, good digital citizen. Being a good digital citizen means having the right tools to act the right way when you are online. Each of these survival kit items can help your students understand how to safely navigate in an online environment. Starting off with the padlock. Your students' number one line of defense when it comes to online security is creating strong passwords. This will help keep their information private and safe. Ask your students to think about these questions. Can someone easily figure out your password? Is it their school ID, their first and last name, their birthday, or is it simply the word password? Oftentimes, students use the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Have them reflect on how strong their password is. Make sure to tell your students that a strong password consists of at least 8 characters and a mixture of letters, capital letters, numbers, and symbols. Toothbrushes. Explain to your students that passwords are like toothbrushes. They're very similar in the fact that you never want to share your passwords, just as you would never share your toothbrush. Spark up a conversation with your students about who it is okay to share their passwords with and who it is absolutely not okay to share their passwords with. Toothpaste. Ask your students to imagine all the information they put online is like toothpaste coming out of a tube. Once it's out, it's almost impossible to get it back in the tube. For a bigger impact, you may even want to get a travel-sized toothpaste bottle and demonstrate this on a desk. Make sure you have some paper towels available. A sheet of paper. This is one of the most powerful items in the kit and requires a little bit of acting on your part. Take a clean sheet of paper and ask a student to wad up the paper into a ball. Tell them to throw it on the ground and stomp on it. Then have them pick up the paper and unwrinkle it in front of the class. This is where the acting comes in. Act upset and tell them that they have ruined the piece of paper and to apologize for destroying it. At this point, you'll probably get some giggles and weird looks from your students. After the student apologizes to the piece of paper, tell them that the paper represents somebody's heart that has been bullied online through a text or on social media. We can apologize all we want, but the emotional scars that remain don't go away. Show this video and have your students reflect on the permanency of their online actions. Mention that even though they delete something they regret, chances are that someone may have favorited, retweeted, or took a snapshot of it, especially if what they did was questionable. Talk to your students about how back in the day, first impressions started with a handshake, but nowadays, oftentimes first expressions start with a Google search. People are using Google to find out information about us before we even meet them. Ask your students to think about what might show up when people search their presence online. Will they find evidence of their community service, sports teams, or clubs they belong to? A strainer. Ask your students to think about how a strainer separates things. Talk about how good digital citizens are able to sift through the information on the internet and find credible sources to meet their academic needs. Have the students imagine a mirror being attached to their device or phone. Ask your students to think about what would happen if they looked into the mirror and saw their grandmother or grandfather. Would they approve of what they were doing online? A notebook. Have your students reflect on their online actions as a daily record in a journal that is open for the entire public to see. Ask them what things that they would be proud of to have just about anyone see, and what things they might not want in that journal. Band-aids. Express to your students that just the same as in the real world, we'll make mistakes online too. Sometimes they might hurt others or our reputation. Make sure that our mistakes are small enough for Band-aids to cover up and heal. Soap. Good digital citizens keep it clean by posting, tweeting, and retweeting information that's appropriate. A packet of seeds. Talk to your students about how they are the sower of seeds for their future. It's up to them to plant a seed that will blossom into a fertile future. This is one of my favorite parts of the Digital Citizenship Survival Kit. This is the dollar bill. Wrap up with a lesson asking students to reflect on the value of what they do online. What worth are they adding to the information out there on the internet? Do they blog? Do they have a YouTube channel that teaches, inspires, or provides tutorials for others? Are they a socially engaged contributor with their online presence? Now it's their turn. Have your students add to this kit on their own or in groups by thinking of everyday things that could help them remember to be a responsible digital citizen.